Hey, fellas, your commissioner here. Excuse me, coming at you for week 14 of NFL action and the first round of our playoffs. Um, start off, Arkansas obviously lost the season finale game against Ole Missouri. Submit back-to-back two-win seasons. Um, all-time low for the program. And hey, my team is right there with them. We'll just go ahead and get straight into a recap of last week's games. Hopefully everyone had a safe and secure, happy Thanksgiving. Um, had a little bump along the way to Tennessee, quite literally. About 30 minutes out, driving along at night on the interstate, bam, hit a deer out of nowhere. Um, so had to deal with that. That wasn't fun. Luckily, everyone was safe. Two other cars hit it as well. But just some damage to vehicles. Fortunately, everyone is safe and secure. Is that lagging again? No, it's not. Um, but yeah, so we're all good. Thankfully, we're able to get on our way back. Fortunately, we weren't that far away from Erica's home, so we're good there. Like I said, most important thing is everyone's okay. So anyway, but the unluckiness continues for myself. Uh, Only team under 100 points this week. Just the absolute dog shit, bad, terrible. Have you ever played fantasy before? Obviously not. You piece of shit loser. Team of the week. Um, that'd be the deal. Um, 92 points. Only team below 100 this week. Third game under 100 points this week or this season. Um, very fitting, very fitting end to the season. Um, been dealing with injuries all year. Um, dealt with a mediocre draft all year. Um, and some poor luck. I mean, second most points against in the league, so that's a recipe for 5-8 if I've ever seen one. So I mean, just nothing out of Tevin Coleman. Ever since he got 4 touchdowns, he hasn't done jack shit. Um, Chris Godwin lays an egg. Hunter Henry lays an egg. Drew Brees sucks. So credit to Savoy. He ended the season on a strong note. Puts up almost 150. Derrick Henry's been a stud. They've started using Todd Gurley again in Los Angeles. And Jack Doyle out of nowhere, 19 points. Miles Sanders, 20 points. Tyler Boyd, whatever. Savoy salvages his season somewhat. Still one of the lowest scoring teams in the league. Um, finished the season at 4-9. Um, move on to our next game. That would be Kickers Lives Matter. Limps his way into a bye. Hawk really needed a win. Came out, put up a strong showing. Puts up 140. Again, really carried by Deshaun and Hopkins, but had strong games out of Gasecki and Singletary as well. Good strong win for Hawk to finish the season 7-6, as he is one to do, and secure a playoff spot. Duncan game didn't matter to him. He could have lost. He could have won. Wouldn't have mattered. He still was going to be the 1 seed. Just rest those players up. Congrats on the. I don't know how you did it. I mean, you got a little lucky, but at least he started scoring points later in the season. So then we got what was the game of the week? Was it this one? I think it was. Let me come back to it. We had two, obviously. Um, Dirty Birds and mixing drinks with my homies a little bit closer than than it appeared on paper. Plunk is able to edge out a win, 137.7 to 137. Um, Even if JD had won the way the other games played out, it wouldn't have mattered. Um, so JD does finish at 5-8, and Plunk gets his way up to 8-5, a 5-game win streak in the season. He was at three. He was 3-5. He got to 300 or 500 at 3-3. Immediately loses 2 games, goes to 3-5, and then rips off 5 in a row. Obviously, kind of buoyed by the Dalvin Cook trade and Devontae Parker's emergence, because Tyreek really hasn't done much for him since he got him. But Lamar continues to steer the ship, and Plunk gets a much-deserved playoff spot. So then we got Craig, who was at risk of missing the playoffs with a loss. Obviously, Nick was fighting for that bye. He needed that, so he needed that to happen, and some help, I think. No. Yeah. He needed his playing for the bye. He needed to win. Rip needed to lose. Really strong game out of Nick. 150, really carried by A-Rob and Alshon. James White, that old rascal, 37 points, almost 38. Easily his best game of the year, probably. So probably the best game for Jeffrey and A-Rob. So I think Nick's going to come crashing back down to reality. I think him not getting that first round bye is tough. But he does have a similar opponent, as we'll see here in about a couple minutes. So we have a couple rematches this week. So, and that brings us to our Crystal's Hot Sauce game of the week. Get your butthole hot with Crystal's Hot Sauce. Louisiana hot. And it certainly lived up to the hype. Rip fighting for a bye. Blaine fighting for a playoff spot. Blaine needed to win really to secure it. If he lost, he needed Hawk to lose as well. Obviously, Hawk didn't lose; he won. And unfortunately for Blaine, he falls 125 to 129. Russ, very slow start to the game, was able to shake it off, do just enough to get the win and put the dagger in Blaine's season. Easily one of the best teams I've seen miss the playoffs. He is missing that number 1 elite wide receiver, but his running backs are some of the best in the league. Got one of the best tight ends, and kind of streaming quarterback. But excuse me. Ultimately, James is what killed him. Jameis, god damn. Only 13 points out of him. Kittle had a terrible game as well. Fuck. But Robert Woods, gosh darn it. I just got the hiccups at the worst time. Would have ripped my throat out. I'm on live television right now. I can't have the hiccups. It can't happen. I'm a professional. All right, and they're gone. Anyway, yeah, I mean, oh gosh darn it, they're back. Messing up my hair. I get so frustrated. Anyways, Blaine should have been in the playoffs, especially over Craig. He doesn't. Rip barely wins, son of a bitch. Just a second. I got my, can't see it, Tiger Woods repping Tiger Woods, Tiger today. Don't know what he did. I'm sure Savoy knows. True Tiger fans don't watch till Sunday. So whenever he's in the hunt, on the prowl. But anyway, um, yeah, congrats to Rip, league scoring champion, #2 seed. He had some bad luck, obviously, with teams scoring points against him. He very easily could have been the 1 seed with the points for that he has, but 2 seeds, nothing to feel bad about. Honestly, I think he's got the better draw facing Nick or Craig versus Duncan up there with Hawk or Plunk. So, and then we've got the Jack Daniels Fire Game of the Week. Preview of the Toilet Bowl. Pretty decent games out of these two teams, actually. Wilson was able to come out ahead somehow, 127 to 120, moves to 5-8 on the year. Don't know how that happened. And Ford falls to 3-10. Worst record in the league. Least amount of points scored in the league. Most points scored against, and just a general awful owner, piece of shit. So I honestly feel bad for Ford. I really do. I can't imagine it's much fun being that bad, having no hope of winning week in and week out. Maybe it's easier to swallow because, I mean, at least my team gets my hopes up from time to time, and then they just end up dashing them the majority of the time. So maybe it's easier just to say, well, you know what, my team just sucks. I'm just going to be the bitch boy back-to-back years. Never happened in league history, but that's what I am. So, yeah, I mean, outside of Matt Ryan and Chris Carson, Cole Beasley, revenge game, blew up. Cooper Kupp had a nice game. But really, Rodgers, Galladay, Devontae Adams, that's Wilson's whole team. And that's what led him to victory. So, left guys on the bench. That was a mistake. Doesn't matter anyway. But, I mean, his running back situation is still fairly poor. He's really only got guys. That's it. So, that's not great. Wilson's by no means out of the woods yet. But, Ford has a decent team on paper, but just speaks to his managerial skills, I guess. He's 3-10. So, anyway, that's all we got there. Not a lot of big pickups. There really hasn't been like a big splash pickup this whole season. I guess Devontae Parker obviously has panned out very well. I'm trying to think of some other free agents that have panned out. Let's see. Keepers, Google Sheets, 19. Oops. Josh Allen has panned out fairly well. DJ Chark has been very good. Cole Beasley's been, up and down. Let's see. Darren Waller, one of the better pickups, free agent pickups of the year. Will Disley before he got hurt. Yeah, that's really it. And I mean, and none of those guys were like splash. There hasn't been like a big splash running back, I guess, free agent like there is most years, or even really a wide receiver. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into a preview of this week's games. Not really sure what the sponsor of the week's going to be. Probably need to start figuring that out. I don't know. We'll do it live. Anyway, we'll start off with a rematch of myself and Savoy. As I alluded to, we've got a couple rematches from last week. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Each round, at least in the winners bracket. For the losers bracket, it just gets reseeded once. That's it. Where the high seed is playing the low seed remaining. But after that, we don't change them up again. And then just because it's odd numbers, no one's ever eliminated, so it doesn't really work. And then for the winners bracket, that will be reseeded. So let's say that whoever's the 6th seed, Craig, I believe. Um, I think it's Craig. Let's check. Yeah, Craig. So let's say Craig somehow beats Nick, and he would be slated to play Rip. We will reseed that and have Duncan play him. So anyway, myself and Savoy, I'm projected to win 130. No, he's projected to win 130 to 127. I mean, I'm pretty scared. I'd much rather be playing either Ford or Wilson to get my one win out of the way. Obviously you only need one win in the losers bracket. You get one win and you're immune from the horse ass. You go 0-3, you're the horse ass, bitch, you boys. So, very unlikely that I would lose to Wilson and Ford. But I would like to just get it out of the way and leave no doubts. Not really a fan of the way my team's shaping up. Ty trade has done absolutely nothing for me. Um, he played well for a couple weeks and then hurt his calf out of nowhere in practice and basically has been MIA ever since. I thought that this was like a regular occurrence with Ty. I thought he was missing like 4 games a year every year. Apparently, that's not the case. He really only misses like 1 or 2 games a year, which is why I didn't want him. And of course, the year I get him, I have him. He misses the most games he's ever missed in his career. So, I mean, you can't make this shit up, guys. Like, I understand I've made some poor decisions as an owner, both in the draft and through trades and other means, and picking up rosters and dropping people. But I also have some pretty shit luck. So, I mean, I know you don't care. Boo fucking who. I get it. But, I mean, this shit's insane. It's insane to me. It's got to stop eventually, right? It's got to stop. I don't know what to do. Ah! Anyway, I don't know. I mean, knowing Savoy's luck, I'm sure that he's gonna drop a big old deuce right on me and yeah, put up another 150, and I'll put up 110 and lose and be sweating for another week. So, whatever. More losers bracket games. We've got Fat Bastards versus the Swamp Donkeys. Blaine is projected to win 143 to 109. Not much to see here. Keep moving. Blaine obviously is not going to get the horse ass. Um, just not going to happen. His team is way too good. His team's a playoff team. So Ford is going to move one step closer to getting that illustrious award. Anyway, then we got JD and Wilson. JD is projected to win 134 to 103. I do think this is closer than it appears on paper. While I don't like Wilson's matchups at all. He's starting Spencer Ware for God's sake. Spencer Ware. Because he literally has no other options. Yeah, I mean, like I said, JD's matchups are tough, but he just has too much talent to win. I do think, hey, you still want to bet on Fab, go for it. I might throw a little bit on this for the game start tonight, but yeah, 30 seems tough. I do think JD is going to win, but a little bit closer than it appears on paper. And then we got now I wanted to make this the game of the week. I really did, but I just can't do it. I think on paper, based on the matchups, that it looks to be a blowout for Plunk against Hawk. The Dirty Birds of War are projected to win 150 to 135. I tend to agree with ESPN there. Well, I don't think either of them are as high scoring as that. Plunk does have some tough matchups himself. I think Plunk just has too much firepower to lose. But Hawk is more than capable of going off at any time. I don't think that these matchups lend to that happening, but stranger things have happened for sure. So that brings us to our do this. God, I got a lot of dishes to do. Or an oldie but a goodie, our Kansas Hawaiian game of the week. Kansas Hawaiian, established in 1950 in Hilo, Hawaii. Hilo, Hawaii. Original Hawaiian sweet rolls, the original recipe. You got 12 rolls in here. They come in 12. They come in 24, 12. You name it. 18. They've got different flavors. They got buttery. They got other stuff. Only 90 calories per roll. A gram of saturated fat, a little bit of sugar. But just heat it and enjoy it. Eat for 2 to 3 minutes, and they're good to go. They're good cold as well. Old guy had a passion for bacon, the Aloha spirit. So Kansas Hawaiian, the official roll of our fantasy football league. Gosh, these things are just delicious. Like I said, they're even good cold. So, I mean, it's bread, right? I've said this before. You've heard me say it. It's bread. Can't really go wrong with bread. So, and wash it down with a little Gatorade Zero, the official thirst quencher of our fantasy league. And you guessed it. It is Chubb Unloaded versus Millens Understudy. Rematch of our Week 13 game where Nick ran away with it and put Craig's life in jeopardy, basically. Start off, battle of the quarterback. We got Ryan Tannehill at Oakland versus Detroit, and Kirk Cousins at Detroit at home against Detroit. Both pretty plus matchups. I still just can't trust Ryan Tannehill. I know Oakland is pretty good, or pretty poor on the pass defense, but I don't trust that Titans offense as far as I can throw them. I think they're just going to pound the rock, run it up that way. So I'm going to go with Captain Kirk in that one. Battle of the running backs. We got Phillip Lindsay, Nick Chubb versus Saquon Barkley, James White. I do think James White sees some action against Kansas City, but Saquon's been struggling, and a tough Philly run defense on a Monday night is not what you want to see. Philly's desperate, fighting for a wild card spot. Eli's going to be back under center for the Giants. So we're going to go Craig in that one as well, Lindsey and Chubb. And then we got Michael Thomas, Manny Sanders, Christian Kirk versus Tyler Lockett, Alshon Jeffrey, Allen Robinson. Dallas has been pretty good on perimeter wide receivers, which is what A-Rob is. Jeffrey should eat on Monday night. The only downside is maybe they get up big and don't need to throw. And then Lockett, who's coming off a shutout and hasn't really been right since he got injured, should be able to avoid Jalen Ramsey because he's in the slot. So, should have a decent bounce back game. I imagine that one's going to be a lot of throwing. But Michael Thomas, obviously, down game, his worst game of the year last year, playing another tough defense in San Francisco. The 49ers, Emmanuel Sanders, you got that against the Saints. Saints have been vulnerable to slot wide receivers, which is kind of where Manny lines up now. And then Christian Kirk should struggle against a decent Pittsburgh secondary. So I'm gonna push this one. On paper, it looks like I'd probably give the edge to Craig, but based on matchups, I'm not really a fan of any of them. So let's push that one. Battle of the tight end. Craig does not have a tight end. Greg Olsen has been ruled out for the game this week. He has no other tight end on his roster. And Nick has Jacob Hollister. I think it's questionable as well. So can't really gauge that one. We'll see what Craig does, but I guess we're just going to assume that Hollister plays, so we'll give the edge to Nick there. Battle of the Flex, we got James Washington at Arizona defense just got torched by the Rams. Um, versus Darius Slayton against Philly. Knowing Nick's luck with Darius Slayton will drop 30 points and probably give the edge to them there. And battle of the flex, Darius or the defensive player Darius Leonard is far superior to Buda Baker. So ultimately, I have a tough time seeing Nick lose this game. I think it's possible. Nick's team is not very good. It's certainly not unbeatable. Doesn't really deserve to be in the playoffs. Doesn't really deserve to win a game in the playoffs, but he probably will. But reality is coming next week, so be ready. Anyway, that's all I got this week. Still no word on the hog search. Apparently, the only reason we haven't announced it yet is because it's somebody who's playing in the conference championship game. So, Lincoln Riley will join our team after they take care of Baylor. So maybe it's Matt Rule, probably Lane Kiffin. I mean, in all honesty, which if you want to know how Lane Kiffin is as a coach, why don't you go ask Connor Plunk, the Tennessee fan. So not really ecstatic about it, but we'll see. So certainly it can get worse. I'm not going to say it can't because it can, but teams have been able to bounce back from 2-win seasons before. So anyway, that's all I got this week. Fellas, good luck for our playoff teams and good luck to those fighting to stay out of the horse ass. So y'all be safe, and as always, whoop pig.